What's up, everybody? This is your boy Jay Everyday, and I wanted to give my thoughts on LeBron James's first round playoff series with Indiana. I was just listening to sports radio, and I heard the commentator seem to rip into LeBron about flopping, about acting, and it's clear that he has a bias, along with a number of other people in sports media, against LeBron James. Selling fouls or selling egregious actions in any sport is part of the game. It doesn't matter if the referee buys it or not. What you're trying to do is create a narrative by selling it. It's an old line in The Sopranos where Uncle Junior was going against Tony Soprano, and the guy he picked wasn't able to rally the other families against Tony. And he said, it doesn't matter if they buy it or not. He couldn't sell it. And it's the same thing with the NBA. I think sometimes people get caught up in all of the extra stuff outside of the game. Whether or not you have a dislike for LeBron James or whatever, you have to recognize his game. You have to recognize the series that he's in. The first game, they said, oh, Victor Oladipo outplayed him. Victor Oladipo did this. Victor Oladipo did that. This is not for me to sit up here and take anything away from Victor Oladipo. I think that he can hoop. I think that he does have a legitimate NBA game. But LeBron had a triple-double, and they lost by 18 points. In the second game, I think LeBron dropped 46 or 48 points, had 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 or 3 steals, 2 or 3 blocks. I don't know his line exactly with regards to steals and blocks. But the commentator still wants to talk about LeBron's acting. That's not the major storyline, I should say, of the game last night. The major storyline is that LeBron dropped 46 points, and he still only won the game by 3 points. Now you're going to hear these sycophants on sports media, oh, LeBron James' job is to make such and such better and to do this or do this. I'm sorry. LeBron James' job is to do his part. If I can't get 20 points from nobody else on my team, that's a problem. Everybody talks about how good Golden State is. It's not so much the fact that they're so much better than everybody else. Steph Curry legitimately has 3 other players, possibly 4 when you bring in Iguodala off the bench, who can drop 20 points a game. That's why they're hard to beat. It's not so much the fact that this person is great or this person is great. Don't get me wrong. Steph Curry is a great shooter. But at the same time, you can shut down Steph Curry, but you can't shut down Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. That's a whole different subject/story, or whatever the case may be. So getting back to LeBron, when I see or hear people criticize or talk about LeBron, just think about the weight of what he has to carry on his shoulders. He has to go into every game with the realization that I have no one else on my team that's capable of putting up 20 points. Whenever somebody does score above 20 points, it's an outlier. That's why people don't realize it was such a big deal when Kyrie Irving left. Because now LeBron doesn't have that person he can rely on, he can count on for an additional 20 to 25 points or more. So when you hear people criticize or talk about LeBron and how he doesn't this and how LeBron is this, think about how mentally taxing that has to be. Every game I go into, I have to hope somebody is capable of giving me 20. Not only do I have to score 25 to 30 points a game, but I have to go in double figures for rebounds, double figures for assists in order for me to have a chance to win. So when I hear people criticize or talk about LeBron, that's just the one critical thing that everybody seems to always gloss over. And if you want examples, just like I said, look at Golden State. Look at Houston. Just last night, Houston, James Harden stunk up the gym. I think he only had like 12 points. But guess what happened? Gerald Green gave him 21. Chris Paul gave Minnesota 27. They had a terrible night of shooting threes. I think they were like 28% from three. And he still won the game by plus 20 points. See, that's the problem sometimes with when you have people who I don't think really ever played basketball or were really, really good at basketball. You criticize one of the greatest to ever do it about him not being able to make people better. And, you know, they say this Jordan shit all the time. Jordan is. Or, oh, he's not a killer like Kobe, this, and this. It happened to them 4 or 5 years when Kobe was in LA without Shaq. And Kobe didn't have somebody else who could score 20 points. Then what happened? Andrew Bynum came along. Paul Gasol came along. Remember, both of these are 7-footers who are capable of giving you 20 points. And you know Kobe is capable of giving you 30 every night if he wants to. And all Kobe needed was a competent small forward and a competent point guard to knock down open jump shots, which he had in Derek Fisher. And during that time, I can't think off the top of my head who played small forward when they won. Was it Lamar Odom? It may have been Lamar Odom at the time, but I don't know that for certain. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But basketball is all about matchups and scoring. So just remember, when you hear somebody talk about what Kobe and LeBron and Michael and the difference, and he don't have that killer mentality and all of this, you have to remember basketball has always been played the same way. You always need people that are able to do certain things like rebound and defend, but you need at least 3 people who can score 20 points. in order for you to win a title. So don't get sucked in by the BS or this false narrative that these people on sports media tends to tell you about basketball, or the drama surrounding Cleveland, or all of this. Because you know what? You know why there's drama around Cleveland? Because LeBron James, no, give me somebody else who's good for 20 points. That's all I'm asking you to do, Cleveland. That's all I'm asking the general manager to do. Why do you think LeBron was so adamant about getting Paul George before Kyrie left? Why do you think Kyrie left Cleveland to go to Boston? Because they were incapable, and they didn't want to give somebody else to them that was capable of scoring 20 points. People thought it was because, Kyrie wants to be his own man and have his own team. Kyrie this, Kyrie that. I'm pretty sure a small part of it was LeBron not committing to Cleveland long term. And I'm pretty sure Kyrie didn't want to be there holding that bag. But at the same time, everything in this league is about points and scoring. Always has been, always will be. So that's my take on LeBron James and the Indiana 2018 first round series. Don't forget to subscribe to the link below. This is your boy Jay Everyday, and I'm out.